Hey team, with me is a local champion, Pup Chamberlain. And Pup, I wanted to get you in regularly and to talk about the wonderful work you do around town because it is well and truly life-saving work in a lot of cases. But it's under the Safer Mid Canterbury banner, Lives Worth Living. Tell me a wee bit about your role.
Yeah, it really started as an idea. Oh, hi, folks. It really started as an idea, Phil, about 5 years ago or so. Kevin Clifford at Safer Mid Canterbury had a bit of a vision of what can we do about suicide in our community. For people that don't realise, suicide nationally is one of our shocking statistics. We Way back then, we were losing about 700 people a year, which was twice our road toll, and yet it's something we don't hear a lot about. So Kevin had this vision, and like all visions, put it together very well, and then went to a very, very good community, such as Advance Ashburton and Trevor Wilson Trust and Three Rivers Trust and others, and said, look, this is our idea and this is what we want to do. We want to do something about this as a community. So at that stage, Connie Quigley, who has a mental health background, and I come in one day a week to support her in sort of creating what would be a good model of suicide prevention in the Mid-Canterbury community.
So day to day, are you working with people? Is that an ongoing thing? And how do you get to work with them?
Yeah, I am now the coordinator of Lives Worth Living, and my day-to-day responsibility is to do anything from run workshops, and I do a lot of that through workplaces and the rural community, on how people can be comfortable about having a part to play in mental health, because as a community we should be thinking that way. And also I work alongside people. So my role is to literally go up and door knock when I've been told that somebody may be in need of help. And, that's something I'm comfortable doing. And it's usually the case of, look, I've heard you may be in a bad place at the moment, and I'm here to help. And that means listening, not judging, and it means, people often ask, well, how have you heard that I'm not good? And I'll say, well, from somebody that cares. And isn't that good? Because that's what a good community should be doing.
So that leads me to the next question. What, as a community, should we be doing? If we see a mate who's, or a workmate or a family member who's just not themselves, and what are some of the telltale signs that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, good question, because the signs are not always obvious, because we do try to keep things to ourselves at times, especially when it comes to mentally agonising over things. But look, I always put it like this, Phil, is that every one of us has physical health and every one of us has mental health. And to think that I may get things wrong with my physical health, but never my mental health, is a wee bit naive. The reality is we're human and life is ups and downs. It's not all smooth. So I don't hesitate to say to a mate who might come into work with a plaster on a Monday, the first thing we're going to say is, what have you done to your arm, or what have you done to your leg? We don't hesitate to do that. And yet this thing, when we know somebody is struggling mentally, and we may have heard things going on at home, but we know that it's not themselves. They're not happy, they're not laughing like they normally do, they may not be eating, they may be looking a bit dishevelled, or they're just not themselves. Then why wouldn't we care about and ask about that? I mean, we're not invading on their privacy. We're caring.
Yeah.
We're caring.
And I guess if you're that worried about asking the person themselves, then you could always get in touch with you and let you do that.
Definitely. Look, there's a lot of good people work with other people in this community. We know that. We live in a great community. But certainly people are free to contact me, and they do. That's how they do that. We have a website and a Facebook site, so Lives Worth Living through Safer Mid Canterbury. But also I get references from community organisations, rural support, even health themselves have contacted me in the past. But neighbours, family, other agencies working in that social part of the community, such as senior citizens and other groups, they just come to me, and then I'll go and do a door knock or a phone call or whatever.
Okay. Just to finish today, how's the state of the nation in Mid Canterbury at the moment? Things are tough enough out there. Interest rates,
Yep.
looming election, all those sort of things playing on people's minds. How's the feel?
Oh, look, if you ask health services, they are incredibly busy. Mental health is always busy, unfortunately. There are pressures out there. Look, if I ask the one thing for this week for people to do is mainstream media, and particularly the TV news and that, limit yourself. It's not the news, it's bad news. And we sometimes can fall into that feeling negative because we're constantly getting told that we should be.
Yeah.
And that's a trap.
Pleasure as always, my friend.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.